Ito ang Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang naiiba at kakaibang plataporma sa digital broadcast. Mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao hanggang sa iba't ibang dako ng mundo. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang sandigan ng sambayanan mula sa walang labis at walang kulang na pagbabalita, paglilingkod, maglalahad ng mga mapagbuong komentaryo at usaping pambayan para sa kapakanan ng karamihan. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, tuwirang maglilingkod ngayon hanggang sa susunod na henerasyon. Buhay Online, Chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, Chikahan at kaalamang pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan na ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techiemommy, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hi, happy Friday, everyone. Thank God it's Friday. That's right, Friday na naman, di ba po? Napakabilis ng araw, yun na nga. Kaya today po, I'm a little bit sad because my yaya of 43 years, Yaya Saning, who came over from somewhere later from her retirement to help take care of me po during my operation, my total knee replacement surgery and procedure and journey. My yaya po ay pinunta po ito sa Pampanga. Nasa mama ko malaga sa operating room. In the day of my operation, she was with me. Hindi po ako iniwan, and sinamahan ako through all those whirling days na nawala yung anesthesia at hindi ako talaga makatayo at everything. She was there, really took care of me. And today, she has to go back to Leyte because she has to take care of papers niya po at saka yung sa election. Tsaka kasi po, she's already retired, really. She retired from her family when my father passed away in 2020. Nag-retire na po namin siya, pero she's forever gonna be getting an allowance from the family, from my kuya, specifically kasi po, pamilya na namin siya. But of course, she came over here. Alam niya kung ako i-operahin. Nagusupin po siya ng ate ko, and siya po ang nag-alaga sa akin. But today, she had to go back. And of course, she's a victim of the death na bagyo. Na nga po to eh. In fact, before she left there noong February 30th of February, up to now po, wala pa po silang kuryente. Na nga naman talaga, sobra po yan. Bakit ganun? Dyan sa Leyte, sa Summer Leyte, ibang areas, doon daw po sa tapat nila, along the road, may kuryente na. Anong ginagawa ng mayor niya. Samantalang sila po, wala pa rin po silang kuryente up to now. So, shout out lang po naman dyan sa Summer Leyte, no? It's really grueling for them. Nawalan na nga ng bahay. Yung bahay ng yaya ko talaga na tangay ng bagyo, nagiba, and tapos ganun pa. Wala pa silang ilaw ngayon. They have to go down to downtown, to the town, magbayad ng pamasahe just to charge their cell phones. So yun po ang dilemma dyan sa probinsya ng aking yaya. Hanggang ngayon, wala pa po silang ilaw. So please lang po, no? Ano ba naman yan? It's already been like what? Months, more than 6 months since the bagyo. And they still don't have electricity. Maawan mo po kayo. They're living so dismally. At saka yun nga, gastos pa para mag-charge ng phone lang na yun ang means of communication nila talaga na magkaroon ng telepono, ng cellphone. So please, 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 action naman po. Marami po mga nag-donate. Bakit ganun? Hindi. Yung what's this? Electric company nila doon. Kabagal naman. Maawa naman kayo. Okay? Okay. First order of the day. Welcome to the friends who are watching today. Happy Friday, TGIF po. Happy Friday to you. Let's talk about, una po regarding education, no? Ang Philippines and Canada are partnering to boost cooperation in higher education, all right? Yesterday, the Philippines through the Commission on Higher Education, or yung CHED po, and Canada, through York University, signed a Memorandum of Understanding, or an MOU, an academic collaboration to launch the partnership between their universities. Okay? Teka nga. Si ayaw itong for some reason, itong aking cellphone ay ayaw mag-broadcast. Ipakita ko na lang sa inyo. Yan yung signing of the contract between CHED and Canada through York University. Alright? Let's see. Nakikita niyo po ito. Let's see. Ayan, there. See? The CHED and York University Canada po, yan po, nag-sign po sila. They signed a memorandum of agreement. Ito po yung Commission on Higher Education in CHED and Canada through York University signed a memorandum of understanding on academic collaboration to launch the partnership between the two universities. So, yan po, no? Okay. Philippine universities and York University partnered for the Globally Network Learning, or the GNL, according to CHED. The MOU was signed by CHED Chairman Popoy de Vera and York University President and Vice Chancellor Dr. Rhonda Lenton. Ayan. So yan po sila, babae, tsaka, alright, there you go. Ayan. Tsaka yan, alright? Okay. Along with officials of the Philippine universities, De Vera led an official visit to Canada to foster stronger university-to-university coalition between the two countries. Okay? Alright. The Philippine Higher Education or High-Level Mission to Canada led by De Vera and higher education institution officials from Mariano Marcos State University, West Visayas State University, Southern Leyte State University, Tarlac State University, Tarlac Agricultural University, Iloilo Science and Technology University, World City College, and Universidad de Dagupan held meetings in Ottawa and Toronto with the University of Toronto Canadian Bureau for International Education, Embassy of the Philippines in Canada, Ryerson University, Ministry of Intergovernmental Affairs of Ontario, and with the different Canadian professional associations. Okay? All right. For the past 2 years, CHED, Philippine HEIS, and York University conducted partnership meetings on the Philippine Folklore Dance Program, Inclusive Internationalization Conference, International Indigenous Students Exchange Program, and Globally Network Learning. CHED said that this latest meeting at York University builds upon existing partnerships and identifies new research areas, faculty, and student mobility that can be started with the HEISs who are part of this official mission. I am certain that this partnership will be fruitful with a strong commitment of CHED and York University anchored on mutual goals and vision for higher education. This MOU is the latest in a series of agreements signed by CHED to open opportunities for higher education institutions from both countries. Okay, York University is a leading higher education institution located in Ontario, Canada, with more than 55,000 students enrolled in undergraduate and graduate degree programs. This year, Times Higher Education THE has ranked York University 11th in Canada and 67th globally against 1,115 post-secondary institutions from 94 different countries. Okay. Ched said that these series of partnership meetings were made possible through the efforts, dedication, and commitment of two Filipino faculty at York University, Dr. Patrick Alcedo, Chair Department of Dance and Faculty Lead of the Philippine Summer Abroad Course on Dance and Culture, and Helen Valderrama, Director, Global Engagement and Partnerships. Meanwhile, several Filipino graduate students at York University also discussed their experiences during the meeting and assisted the delegation in understanding the various program offerings of the university. Sinabi ng CHED that Alcedo and Valderrama, who studied and taught in Philippine universities before migrating to Canada, gave invaluable input to the discussion due to their familiarity with the educational system in both countries. Alcedo taught at the University of the Philippines before moving to Canada and is a well-recognized filmmaker and expert on the folklorization of religion. Participating in the discussions were MMSU President Shirley Agrupis, WVSU President Joselito Villaruz, ISATU or ISATU President Raul Muyong, SLSU President Pros Ivy Hiepes, and WCC President Patrick Guico, Universidad de Dagupan Vice President Felisa Arzadon, and Anthony Tua, and officials from TSU and TAU. Okay? So yun po yung latest dyan regarding the collaboration of the Philippine universities with York University. And in connection to that, di ba yung binalita ko ng isang araw, nangangailangan ng milyon-milyon na workers ang Canada po. They are really encouraging migrants. At may plus po ang Filipinos because we speak English. So, kung kayo yung mahusay-husay ang English nyo, kailangan nyo ng trabaho abroad, Canada is the place. It's one of the safest places in the world nga daw, right? Okay? Ano lang yun? Just a little tip of encouragement sa mga naghanap ng trabaho na hindi makahanap dito sa ating bansa. Okay. In the world of social media, okay, let's talk about social media and the elections, okay? Okay, according to Manila Times, okay, today, by Franco Jose Cibaronia, all right? Sabi niya, ang social media daw helps shape the youth's vote. Ano sa tingin niyo? Yes or no? Sa tingin ko nga yes, no? Anyway, okay. Okay, so social media daw can play a big role, all right, in this election. So para sa regards to the vote of the youth. Well, millennials and the Generation Z, who make up 52% or more than 30 million of the electorate, will rely heavily on social media in deciding whom to vote for in the May election. Sa tingin nyo? Sa tingin ko rin, di ba? Ano talaga yun, hindi natin ma-discount yung fact na ang buhay na ng mga kabataan ngayon ay nakasalalay or hindi nakasalalay or nakadikit sa social media, right? Alright? So they're trying to say that Generation Z at ang millennials na kino-comprise nga 30 million of the electing population will rely heavily on social media deciding whom to vote in the May elections. Okay? So sinabi na ito, nagkaroon ng forum ito mga public relations and media affairs experts kahapon. Okay? Mega World Corporate Senior Assistant Vice President and Head of Public Relations and Media Affairs, Harold Geronimo, who is also President of Public Relations Society of the Philippines, analyzed the youth vote during an online forum of the Manila Times. Sabi ni Harold, I personally know Harold, hello. He's an acquaintance and colleague in the media world and PR world. Okay? Nasa mega world na siya. Generation Z is the demographic sector made up of youths born during the late 1990s to the early 2010s. Okay? Kasali siya ang anak ko. 2001 siya eh, right? Geronimo said The heavy reliance of youth voters on social media came about after the online culture became part of the new norm at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, it's been there for years, pero it got heightened pa, di ba? Lalo pang napag-igting or naging mas aggressive ang participation sa social media ng mga tao na nag-pandemic because they're confined to their homes, they're confined to their cell phones, right? They're confined to their laptops. When COVID-19 happened, we were all forced into our own cocoons for extended periods. We were physically cut off from the world, and our only other link to everyone else was through the virtual realm, through social media postings, he said. Online access rose dramatically as Filipinos began to adjust their lifestyle to their online regimen, and work from home suddenly became the thing. Diba? Talaga naman, nauso talaga yung work from home. Okay? So, the younger generation had no choice but to adapt to e-learning setups. Talaga naman, distance learning, online learning, e-learning. The pandemic fast-tracked the media's pivot to the digital realm. Talaga naman tayo nag-transition na to digital pero napabilis nga. Okay? Napabilis lalo dahil sa pandemic. Because social media now largely dictates the formation of opinions, perceptions, and lifestyles, it will be critical in determining voters' choices on May 9, specifically the youth, right? Hieronymus said some groups predicted this digital transformation even before the pandemic and started using social media platforms to reinforce their political ambitions. Many politicians began to turn to social media to promote their good reputation to the youth. Totoo naman yan. Kaya, iba sa Amerika, minandate talaga na i-monitor yung pagsasensor ng mga posts sa Facebook, sa Instagram, sa YouTube, yung lahat yan, di ba? Pati ng Twitter. Kasi nga, yung mga misinformation. And baka mabias din yung mga votes pagka-elections dahil sa mga pinapost sa social media. So, kinakailangan talaga ng caution, right? And more a careful censorship. Way back in 2018 and 2019, I have seen a lot of politicians and known government officials. Okay? They have not yet declared their candidacies, but they are already on social media. They have their YouTube accounts, diba? They also have their TikTok accounts, talking about what they and their families, their previous positions have done to help the country. Itong sabi ni Harry. Okay, Harry Hirono. On the other hand, social media can also be vital in addressing corruption and transparency issues because it makes it easier for people to take part in the election process, he said. Okay? He pointed out that irregularities can easily be exposed real-time through social media. That is how important and significant the role of social media is. Anyone can be a communicator. Talaga naman, talaga, di ba? Kaya nga, maraming kwidao, maraming caveat emptor, maraming, you have to check it out first because anybody can be an influencer. Yun na nga is it a good or bad influence? Or is there truth sa nabalitaan mo? Everyone can spew or spread information on social media. Pero yun, dapat i-verify and dapat talaga viable, di ba? So, anyone can be a communicator. Everyone on social media can actually send out photos or videos of any irregularities or anything about the elections real time. And usually, mainstream media would pick that up and make them as stories, di ba? So, Ripple 8 Inc., Managing Partner and Media Relations and Activations Director Michelle Orosa-Ople, who joined the forum, said that with the emergence of digital platforms, communicators and PR practitioners are finding it difficult fighting lies and advocating the truth online. Yun na nga, kasi hindi na mahabol lahat ng post sa iba-ibang platform di ba? Kung ikaw, itong mga PR campaigns, I grew up in the world of PR together with my sister Jackie Maniquez and of course Manila Genesis, where we were both doing PR work ng article, and of course through the years on my own consultancies as a PR and a publicist. And noon noon we can fight fires because it was all manual at pag merong lumabas na or interview or anything sa dyaryo. Pero ngayon nga, because it's free, social media is free, and they're free to post anything, mahirap talaga to fight fires. Okay? And how to advocate truth online. Orosa Ople said the dark side of social media is that it can be a vehicle for sowing confusion and misinformation. And true enough, it already does, right? Like I said nga, when there's misinformation, when there's malicious or hacking even, right? So yan ang nangyayari. That's why yun ang mandate ng Amerika, ginawa na nga, nilagay na nga law na kailangan to watch out for misinformation na pinapost nila tungkol din sa COVID, di ba? Tungkol din sa what do you call this? Tungkol din sa elections. Yun na nga, tungkol sa war, yun sa Ukraine-Russia. Anything talaga, we could be misinformed if we don't verify, right? Okay, so, especially with this pandemic, di ba? There's information coming from all sides. There's every social media platform available right now to be able to get the information you want, what you need and what you want to see. So basically, there's information overload that cannot easily be digested. Ito ang sinabi po ni Ripple 8 Managing Partner and Media Relations Activations Director Michelle Orosa Ople. Sinabi niya pa na a lot of them, especially the younger millennials, so the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha, are trying to understand what they are seeing. Most of them are taking what they see online as truth. So, totoo ka, talaga. Paniwala sila kahit kay Google. Diba? Why? Because they were not there. They were not able to experience the things that they are seeing online. The stories, the chronicled events, the news items, they're only seeing online. Okay? So many of them are very much overwhelmed with what they are seeing online, and some of them don't know what to make of it. Hindi nila talaga ma-absorb dahil hindi nga nila na-experience, right? That is why it is imperative for communicators tsaka mga PR practitioners to find ways to innovate experience in the time of digital content. Sinabi to ni Orosa Ople, in a digital world rife with information and disinformation, the best solution is to go analog, okay? To find ways to go beyond the digital stream and get the people to act. Talaga naman verify nyo pa rin in person, i-verify nyo pa rin talaga face-to-face. Orosa Ople said, social media works best if you build and galvanize communities, okay? When it comes to social media, it's a waste of time to go after people who don't believe in what you do. If you want to use digital, know what it is, know the power of community, and the power of being able to build those relationships and start from there. Sabi pa ni Orosa Ople, less is more, okay? All right, tama naman yan. That's really a good bit on on social media and how it's going to affect the elections. Because I think it really has a big part or plays a big part in the decision making of not only the young people, pati rin yung matatanda dahil nagso-social media rin sila, right? Totoo, right? Exactly. Okay. So that's what I mean. Okay, yung lalahanin lang natin yung kino-call out ko na please lang, mag-restore na kayo ng electricity dyan sa Summer Leyte, kawawa naman yung mga tao, right? My yaya included. So I just binalikan ko lang yung dahil may nakita na naman ako dito tungkol sa floods. Okay. So let's keep talking about social media pa rin tayo, alright? Ito naman sa Pilipinas. Meta, okay, Metaverse, which is formerly Facebook, okay, Meta has removed more than 400 Facebook accounts and pages of so-called hacktivists. Wow. Kasi na ba itong aking graphic dyan? Where are my hacktivists? Yan. Okay, ito yung news na yan. Put in the forefront. Okay, there you go. Meta takes out 400 hacktivists, NPA-linked accounts, pages from Facebook. Okay, so Meta has removed more than 400 Facebook accounts and pages of so-called hacktivists and of a network of groups linked to the New People's Army or NPA and may red tagging for supposedly violating the social media giant's community standards. Okay? This move by Meta comes about a month before the May 9 general elections in the Philippines, and as the fight against widespread misinformation and historical revision continues. Okay? In a report on Thursday, Facebook Threat Disruption Director David Agronovich and Aidan Hoy of Meta's Strategic Response in the Asia-Pacific region explained that the hacktivists have been behind the distributed denial of service, ayan pala, yung DDoS, attacks on the defacing of legitimate sites and news pages. O pati native cap, diba, na DDoS. Alright, okay. Agronovich said this was the product of a new policy implemented in the Philippines, targeting groups and networks that amplify the harmful behavior of their member accounts. The network included over 400 accounts, pages, groups that work together in systematically violate multiple policies on our platform against coordinated harm, bullying, and harassment, hate speech, misinformation, and incitement to violence. Agronovich told Manila-based reporters. The people behind this activity claim to be hacktivists that primarily rely on authentic and duplicate accounts to post and amplify correct content about, okay, the distributed denial of service or yung DDoS attacks, okay? So actually, that primarily the people behind this activity claim to be hacktivists that primarily on authentic and duplicate accounts. Silang gumagawa sila ng duplicate accounts, nangungopy sila ng mga legit na account to post and amplify content about distributed denial of service or DDoS attacks, right? Excuse me. Account recovery and defacing and compromising of primarily news entities' websites in the Philippines. But aside from attacking legitimate websites, ano pang ina-attack ng mga hacktivists na to? The group of hacktivists has allegedly offered services for protection from the same attacks that they have carried out. Nag-offer sila ng mga protection against the type of hacking that they are that they have carried out. Okay, sorry, excuse me. Notably, they also offered cybersecurity services, okay, to protect websites from the very types of attacks they claim to have perpetrated. So, paprotektahan yung sarili nila sa sarili nila ng hacking, virus or hacking. Regarding Facebook accounts owned by the communist armed group NPA, Hoy said in a newsroom post that these have been removed for propagating violence, which goes against the platform's community standards. We have dedicated teams that are constantly working to find and stop coordinated campaigns that seek to target people and malicious activities on our platform, Hoy explained. Recently po, nag-identify sila and removed a network that violated our policies against dangerous organizations. This included a network of Facebook pages, groups, and accounts maintained by the New People's Army, a banned terrorist organization for violating the policies and prohibiting groups that have a violent mission or are engaging in violence. Okay? Of course, okay, later naman, Meta assured Filipinos that they are preparing for the possible deluge of misinformation, hate speeches, and misleading and harmful content as the election season in the Philippines draw near. This was not the first time that Meta, previously known as Facebook, took down accounts for violating their community standards. In March 2019, Facebook's head of cybersecurity policy, Nathaniel Bleiter, said that the company has taken down more than 200 accounts from President Rodrigo Duterte's former social media strategist for participating in coordinated inauthentic behavior. Okay. Ang CIB is explained as a group of cluster of Facebook accounts or pages that are made to appear as if they were operating organically independent of the said network. Okay? All right. Okay. So in connection to that, no, yung pag ano yan, and retirement, and this is like over and over again nangyayari. Ngayon naman, social media, yung mga red tagging, lahat na lang communist, ano ba yan? Okay, in a report on Thursday, Facebook threat disruption director David Agronovich and Aidan Hoy of Meta Strategic Response in the Asia Pacific region explained that the hacktivists have been behind the DDoSs. So, ngayon, alam na yun ng lahat, mas ano na tayo, vigilant and mas careful, right? Okay. Regarding Facebook accounts owned by the communist armed group NPA, Hoy said in a newsroom post that these have been removed for propagating violence, which goes against the platform's community standards. Okay? Tapos, earlier, Meta assured Filipinos that they are preparing for the possible deluge of misinformation, hate speeches, and misleading, harmful content as the election season in the Philippines draws near or closer. This was not the first time that Meta, previously known as Facebook, took down accounts for violating their community standards. In March 2019, Facebook's head of security policy, Nathaniel Gleicher, said that the company has taken down more than 200 accounts from President Rodrigo Duterte's former social media strategists for participating in coordinated inauthentic behavior. So, yan. So, tinanggal na yung 200 accounts, okay? Alright? Hold on a second lang po. I'm just gonna take a sip of water because I'm a little bit woozy and dizzy from my medication. Not to be eaten on an empty stomach. I'll take it on an empty stomach. Another Facebook social media platform, Technological News, connected, okay? Facebook shuts down fake China-based accounts backing Duterte, Sarah's presidential bid, okay? Social media giant Facebook has shut down several fake Facebook accounts and pages, the contents of which were supportive of President Rodrigo Duterte and the possible 2022 presidential bid of his daughter, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio. The fake accounts were traced to individuals from China's Fujian province. Nathaniel Gleicher, head of Facebook security policy, said on Tuesday night. According to Gleicher, the pages and accounts engaged in coordinated inauthentic behavior, whether posting about global news and matters related to the West Philippine Sea and operations of the United States Navy in 3 languages, Chinese, English, and Filipino. Wow. Other contents include criticism of critical media site Rappler and other issues relating to overseas Filipino workers, known to mostly most of them are supportive of Duterte. They focus most of their activities on Southeast Asia. They posted in China, in Filipino, and in English global news and current events, including Beijing's interest in the South China Sea, Hong Kong content supportive. Okay. Hong Kong content supportive of President Duterte and Sara Duterte's potential run in the 2020 presidential election. So they're saying they're endorsing Sara Duterte in this upcoming elections. Criticism of Rappler, issues relevant to overseas Filipino workers, praise and some criticism of China. Yun ang ginagawa itong si Gleicher. We are attributing this to these individuals operating from the Fujian province of China. In addition, it's worth noting, as often when we conduct one of these takedowns, we've shared information about this with our country, with our industry colleagues, and with researchers. Nakaaral ka pa ng libre, right? Yun na nga lang, kung delikado, no? Nabundok or nakabundok. Okay, this is the first of 2 weeks tracked down by Facebook, the other being a domestic cluster with ties to the law enforcement sector, particularly the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police. Okay. Gleicher also said that unlike the local setup, the discovery of the network in China was a result of Facebook's independent investigation and their proactive work were exposed. Okay. All right. So on that note, okay, Facebook shuts down fake China-based accounts backing the third China's possible presidential bid. But I haven't seen her bid. We are attributing to the individuals operating from the Fujian province of China. Okay? So yan po. This is the first of 2 networks tracking down Facebook, the other being a domestic cluster with ties to the law enforcement sector. Particularly yan sa AFP po na trace dyan, yung mga positive na Omicron. Gleicher also said that, unlike in the local setup, the discovery of the network in China was a result of Facebook's independent investigation and their proactive work to expose such operations. Okay, very good. Last March 2019, Gleicher also revealed over 200 Facebook accounts belonging to a network managed by Nick Gabunada, the 30th social media strategist in the 2016 presidential election. Okay. Previously, Gabunado also worked for the President Benigno Aquino III. Yes. And they also closed down 200 Facebook accounts that were anomalous. Okay. So previously Gabunado also worked for then President Benigno Aquino III sometime. Okay. So wag na pong mag-alala. We will see this through. Okay. China naman, pinabana ng Facebook yung kanilang fake China-based accounts. Okay? Very good. Alright, so that's that about Facebook shutting down fake China-based accounts. And in so doing, napasama na rin siya. Okay? Dito yun. Because, sinama na rin dito yung mga iba-iba pang fake news na nagpo-post na accounts. Okay? Alright. So speaking of work naman tayo, right? Let's go back to talking about work and the employment situation. The PSA, or the Philippine Statistics Authority, saying that February 2022 po, unemployment rate was at 6.4%. Over 3 million people were jobless as of February 2022, okay? More than 3 million Filipinos are jobless as the February 2022 unemployment rate remained at 6.4%, the Philippine Statistics Authority said yesterday, okay? The PSA said the January 2022 unemployment rate was also at 6.4%. February 2022's unemployment rate, however, was lower than the unemployment rate of 8.8% in the same month, 2021, when 4.19 million Filipinos were unemployed. Okay? In terms of magnitude naman, okay, this is translated to 3.13 million unemployed individuals 15 years old and over. This is lower by 100.6 million unemployed Filipinos compared to February 2021, the PSA said in a statement. Despite the unchanged unemployment rate, the PSA said the labor force participation rate is at 63.8% in January from 60.5% the previous month. This meant that the number of labor force participants stood at 48.61 million in January, an increase of about 2.67 million adult Filipinos from 45.94 million in January. Okay, ang tahimik na ng aking kabahayan. Yung nanay niya, ako naalala kapag ganitong time, she's already preparing lunch. Na-spoil naman ako nitong past month. my yaya taking care of me. Actually, more than anything, not naman is to take care of my physical needs. Ang mobility ko kasi po ang tamaan sa total knee replacement kong surgery. Okay? So, despite the unchanged unemployment rate, the PSA said the labor force participation rate is 63.8% in January from 60.5% the previous month. This meant that the number of labor force participants stood at 48.61 million in January po. Tsaka nag-increase of about 2.67 million adult Filipinos from 45.94 million in January. So the Department of Labor and Employment, hindi unemployment, dulo, on Thursday or kahapon said the current data is the outcome of the ease of alert level classification in February, among other developments. The virtually unchanged employment and unemployment rates will be attributed to the alert level classifications throughout the month for most of the country. Totoo naman kasi iba-iba nga yung alert levels, right? Di ba there's a move to make it all universal or the same? Pero ayaw pa rin yan naman ng iba o ng DOH actually gusto na nilang patupadin yan, walang masks, pero kumukontra pa rin ang gobyerno because for obvious reasons, okay? People are still getting infected, alright? The virtually unchanged employment and unemployment rates may still be attributed to the alert level classifications throughout the month for most of the country. Yun na nga, iba-iba kasi dati alert level ganyan sa ibang probinsya or city and then bigla na lang mahal sa iba, you know? That's why they may still we have to, the Labor Department said, travel restrictions for foreign travelers have been lifted, okay? Promising a boom in the tourism sector already en route to recovery. Also, the election campaign kicked off the same day as field work for the latest or the labor force survey study began. 8th of February, where Dole sees an increase in labor demand from election spending. Okay? The National Economic and Development Authority said the agency aims to shift the entire country to alert level 1 to decrease the number of unemployment. Kaya na, huwag na munang normal. Okay na yung 1, napaka-close na yun sa to natural. We aim to shift the entire country to alert level 1 to enable even more Filipinos to find work. Ito sinabi ni Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Carl Kendrick Chua in a statement kahapon. Chua also proposes the full resumption of face-to-face classes to maximize the shift to alert level 1. This will allow 1/4 of the parents who stay at home supporting their children during the online classes to work. This is crucial in light of the inflationary pressures we are experiencing right now dahil sa Russia at Ukraine na conflict, di ba? So dapat lang natin ito i-consider kasi this will allow 1/4 of the parents who are staying at home to support their kids and ask for help too, okay? All right. Where are you going? All right. Okay, so that is the unemployment rate. So now, let's talk about technology and what we have here in the Philippines as an upgrade or latest thing to say. Ang PLDT po, the Philippine Long Distance Telephone Company, or one of the major players in the telephony or in dito sa platform na yan or mga ganitong service provider ng telepono. Telco giant PLDT Inc. is enhancing its network efficiency to deliver 5G, home broadband, and enterprise services within the successful deployment of segment routing over IPv6 on its commercial network. Okay. PLDT said it has piloted SRv6 to serve customers in selected portions of Metro Manila, becoming the first Philippine telco to achieve this milestone. Okay. Deployed by a number of major global operations with large-scale commercial networks, Across the world, SRv6 is an upgrade to and a key part of the company's massive transport network transformation project, which began in 2017, according to PLDT. The rollout of SRv6 is part of PLDT transformation journey to make our network future ready. PLDT and Smart Communications Head of Technology Mario Tamayo said, "The initiative is crucial as we support the country's digital pivot in the new normal and elevate the internet experience of our fixed, wireless, and enterprise customers nationwide." And of course, in fairness, now since I moved to Pampanga from Manila, more than a year ago po, noong February, nag 1 year na ako dito, napansin ko po talaga na mas mabuti ang internet dito sa Pampanga, or siguro they already improved, di ba? Kasi PLDT was doing maintenance, PLDT would give us promos, and then was saying that binoost po yung speed. And in fairness, my speeds talaga have been more than over 100 Mbps. For the same kind of broadband, fiber na internet, that I was using in Manila. The same plan, the same number, pero never pong pumalo ng kung ano yung dapat sa Metro Manila talaga. Kunyari 50 Mbps ka, ang nakukuha mo ng 20 plus or something. But now, in fairness, consistent ako 100 plus Mbps kasi yun ang binabayaran ko, right? Okay? So, ano tong SRv6? Ang SRv6 enables advanced features like network slicing and makes the network more scalable, agile, and reliable. With these improvements in place, the company's network is better positioned to enable future network capabilities, as well as the delivery of best-in-class 5G and fiber to the home services to individuals, families, communities, and businesses across the country. Okay? But magbati naman pala tayo. Tuloy-tuloy lang. Batiin natin po ang ating mga viewers, ang ating mga friends. Thank you so much for your support. Miss Angelica Paz na everyday nag-greet ng good morning, na napaka-positive na tao. Thank you so much. Okay? Ayan, so tapos na itong hacktivist news ko from Facebook. So, i-delete na natin siya dito. Okay? Moving right along. Yes. Okay. So, let's talk about yung unemployment ngayon. Basta in-expect na pag mag-surge pa tong because right now with our restrictions na sa elections now, ito unemployment siguro nadagdagan na, di ba? I mean, mas marami nang may trabaho ngayon kesa noong 2020. Okay? So, like I was saying, warning po tayo na if we don't take care of it, there's going to be a COVID surge in 2 months. If we don't practice social distancing and still small protocols na lang nga hinihingi, pero dahil sa election na yan, nagkandagulo na talaga. Labo-labo ang mga tao, right? Okay. So, natanggal na yung mga pinamis ng Facebook sa Philippines na papagbutihan pa nila, di ba? Yung kanilang pag-sensor. Kasi tinanggal na yung mga malicious Facebook accounts, buti naman. At saka kasi nga talagang under fire sila right? They're really trying to crack down on these mga hackers and hacktivists and all. But anyway, so I'd like to repeat, Facebook's parent company Meta announced yesterday that it has taken down hundreds of accounts from the Philippines that were engaged in malicious activities, whether it's COVID-related vaccine, elections. These accounts were removed from Facebook on the social media platform ahead of the May elections. Inunahan na po, no? Among those removed from Facebook was a network of pages, groups, and accounts maintained by the New People's Army, the armed wing of the Communist Party of the Philippines. Oh my gosh. Along with this, Meta said it has also removed from Facebook a network of over 400 accounts, pages, and groups that work systematically and to violate the social media platform's community standards and evade enforcement. The company said people behind this network claimed to be hacktivists who amplified content about distributed denial of service attacks, account recovery, defacing and compromising of primarily websites of news outlets in the Philippines. Okay? Meta also flagged operations of fake accounts from other countries as the elections in the Philippines are drawing closer. It said it has removed several clusters of activity that changed the focus of their pages and groups for the elections, okay? Like a page that shared dance videos that renamed itself to become Bongbong Marcos News. Pinalitan lang, no? Marcos is running for president in the polls and has been identified by independent fact checkers as the biggest beneficiary of online disinformation. Sorry, possession. Activities from Vietnam, Thailand, and the US were also removed, Meta said, as these pretended to be coming from Filipinos in an apparent attempt to monetize people's attention on the election. So hindi mga Pinoy yan. May ibang country galing yan. Vietnam, Thailand, pati US pa. One such example is a cluster of pages opened or operated by spammers in Vietnam. Okay, ayan nga yan. Who use software to make it appear they are based in the Philippines. Ba't naman ganyan? No? Ba't naman ganon? Okay? Okay, so itong cluster of pages na to, operated by spammers in Vietnam, they make it appear na taga-Pilipinas sila, post as supporters of political campaigns on local news outlets, and use names like Philippines Trading News, Duterte Live, related to Francis Leo Marcos, and Pinas News. They claim to share live footage while purporting to be local news resources on the ground in an attempt to drive people to their clickbait websites filled with ads. Yun nga yun, i-lure kayo nun, pagpunta ka, pag-click nyo, barrage of advertisements on your cell phone, on your laptop, wherever, in your tablet. Meta also said that it has taken down about a dozen clusters of activity focused on fake engagement, including a social media management agency that used a network of over 700 accounts to post and share political and entertainment content. Wow. Okay, so yun, okay? So, daw kayo, please. Huwag na kayong away-away dyan. Pero yun talaga, yung social media, nakakapag-joke yan ng, And of course, kasi nga, yung fake news. Alright? Okay. So, we talked about Facebook today and the issues about activists and all that. Okay? Yan pa, see? At least yung Meta, pinapansin po tayo ngayon dahil yung mga interest ng Pilipinas ay pinapagtuunan ng pansin, right? Like again, Meta assures the Philippines to purge SOCMED of hate speech at saka misinformation para sa election darating, alright? That's why, so, ang Meta po, for one sec, is assuring Filipinos, preparing platforms against a possible deluge of misinformation, hate speech, and other harmful content as the May 2022 general elections are drawing near. Okay? In a press briefing po kahapon sa media yan, Aidan Hoy of Meta Strategic Response in the Asia-Pacific region and Facebook Philippines, head of public policy Claire Amador, addressed concerns about the platforms like Facebook and Instagram being used to spread misinformation and other inauthentic and dangerous activities, saying that they have partnered with several government offices and civil society organizations to watch out for these events. Okay? Very good. Okay? So yun po. Our goal is to make it harder for people to interfere with elections on our family of apps. That is Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. But also, we want to make it easier for people to have their voices heard. Okay? Elections have changed a lot over the past few years, but so has Meta. We know we have an important responsibility when it comes to helping people participate in elections, as well as mitigating the election-triggered risks. We now do more than ever, okay, to stop election interference using lessons that we've learned from the past, okay, as well as inputs from experts and policymakers across the political spectrum, okay. Alright, so among the safeguards anong pag-iingat dito? Ang Meta has introduced our tools to ensure political advertisements on their platform are really generated or originated from the Philippines. Ayun na nga, kung maka-device kayo technologically ng isang way na bago niyo ilabas yung ad, tingnan niyo muna kung talagang nasa Philippines to ensure that no foreign interference occurs. What happens, Hoy said, is that they now require advertisers to confirm their identities and location and fill up a disclaimer sheet, which would then provide users with more information about their background. So, in 2020, we introduced the tools in the Philippines to make political advertising much more authentic. These tools compel advertisers who are looking to launch ads about politics in the Philippines, okay, to first have to confirm their identity. Okay? So, kailangan muna nila, okay, itong mga tools na to compel advertisers who are looking to launch ads about policies in the Philippines to first have to confirm their identity, confirm their location, and finally fill up a disclaimer for their advertisement. Okay, I'll explain. Alright. So, ano doon? Yung mga ads daw nirarun ng advertiser must have a valid form of Philippine identification, which mitigates foreign interference. So this means that when people are scrolling through their newsfeed, they see a political ad, they see a paid for by a disclaimer on that ad, which when they click through would provide when they click through a certain link there in the ad, this would provide more information about the people behind the particular advertisement. Okay, all right. And on that note, okay, meron pa tayo pag-usapan ngayon. There's a lot of topics to talk about, and there's really a lot being sent to me. But anyway, punta naman tayo sa bata. Parents guide to flying fortnight with your kid. Ayan, malapit na ang weekend, nagkawawa naman. You know, Fortnite is a known popular game in Japan. But I don't know how to play this. Of course, my son does, but he's not here. Okay, so there's Fortnite. Hi, my name is Jean. I'm 37 years old and I play Fortnite. Sometimes it's weird to admit that I play a video game known for its popularity with teens and teenagers. Okay. But I love it for the same reason they do. It's a solid shooter with unique gameplay mechanics and never-ending ways to improve. And if your kids play as mine do, or are interested in starting, it can be a lot of fun to play together. Okay, so mga maming nagsabi din naman, maski hindi, this is another hobby. Okay, that said, Fortnite is a game with a high skill ceiling, and there are some other things you want to know about patient and brand newspaper. It's okay. All right. Fortnite is a game with a high skill, diba? High skill ceiling, ang tinatawag na to. It takes a lot of cunning and intelligence to figure out strategies, okay? Some things you'll want to know as both a parent and a brand new player before you and your kids make your first drop together. So what is Fortnite, okay? Fortnite is a free-to-play battle game available on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and Android devices. Battle Royales consist of real players navigating the same map, searching for weapons, health upgrades, and shields, and fighting until only one player or team remains. Okay. So throughout the game, a storm element shrinks the map, forcing players closer and closer together, so they have to fight until the victor is crowned. Okay. Most popular battle royales like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Warzone, and Apex Legends. Okay, and on that note, I'd like to say thank you so much for joining me again sa isa pang so meaningful na broadcast po today, at marami naman po tayong na-cover na information na binigay sa inyo. Please feel free to message me for any other topics you want to talk about that's connected to technology, and also one voyage to my nanny who's already on her way to Manila before she goes home to Leyte, may dadalawin pa. So thank you very much for joining me. At the end of the day po, huwag natin kakalimutan that the three things should remain in our hearts, and that's faith, pananampalataya, hope, pag-asa, and love for everyone. Maraming salamat, and have a good day. God bless.
Inyong natunghayan at napakinggan ang mga makabagong pamamaraan sa mundo ng online sa pamamagitan pa rin ng Broad Stream Cast Communicators. Hanggang sa muli,